Sadnam. We are Jen and Ramtan from Heart Center Revolution.
Our intention with this podcast is to share the best of Kundalini Yoga and conscious living with you so you can live a more heart-centered life. Welcome to Heart Centered Revolution, episode 13. In this episode, we're going to continue our on-again, off-again coverage of the chakras. So today's chakra is the third chakra. If you haven't been listening, if you want to go back or you just want to revisit, the episode 6 is an overview of all of the chakras. Episode 7 is the first chakra. And episode 9 is the second chakra, if you just want to find those real quick. And then towards the end of this podcast, I will lead you through an energizing pranayama, which is a great fit for the third chakra because it's all about activating energy. But before we begin the content for this episode, I just want to say thank you for sticking with us, for coming back to us. We've been on an unplanned break for the past month, or a little over a month. We hadn't planned to take time off, but we moved and ended up having to do some construction ourselves. And then I had a series of technological problems with my laptop. So I ended up having to get a new system and get that all up and running. So we're good. We're settled now. And we are super committed to Heart-Centered Revolution. This is our passion. This is what we want to do for the foreseeable future. But for the time being, we make our income elsewhere. So it's an evenings and weekends thing for the time being. But on that note, we want to know what you want. Like, what do you want to learn more about? What type of teaching modality would be good for you? Kind of what gets you excited about Kundalini Yoga. So if you could please spend 5 minutes and visit heartcenteredrevolution.com/survey. And we have a quick, I think it's 7 questions, super fast, survey, and then we can take your feedback and create the teachings or courses or podcast episodes that are in alignment with where you are at and what you want. So please do that. It'll ask for your email address, but it does not put you on our email list. So this isn't something we're doing to grow our list. We're just trying to get feedback as to what you all want. Now, transitioning back to the content for this episode, before we jump into Ramtan's class on the third chakra, I wanted to share a little bit about our individual journeys to becoming vegetarian. And we don't share this to be preachy, but the vegetarian, like Ramtan's transition to vegetarianism, however you say that word, comes up in the episode. And so I just want to kind of talk a little bit more about that so that it doesn't sound like we're trying to tell you what to eat or not to eat. And so for me, I've been a light meat eater, or I was a light meat eater for most of my life. I never ate very much meat. I definitely never cooked my own meat at home. But when I went out, I would have like chicken and turkey. And then as I started practicing more yoga, specifically Kundalini Yoga, which is, the yoga of awareness. And so I started becoming increasingly aware of how I felt after I ate meat. I felt heavier. My stomach didn't feel too great. And I just felt lethargic after I ate meat. And so I just kind of naturally started eating less and less of it and looking for options that did not have meat. And then I just knew one moment, I just kind of knew that I wasn't supposed to eat red meat or poultry anymore. And so I stopped eating it. And thankfully, this was 4 or 5 years ago, around the time and I live in Southern California, so the options for non-meat meals in restaurants around that time were getting more and more. So it just was easy. I never really struggled against it. And I think that's the key. I think if the idea of being vegetarian seems like a big struggle to you, look at whether that's a mental struggle, like you just have a habit of eating meat, or whether biologically or intuitively your body needs meat right now, because that could be true too. We all have different bodies. We're all in different phases of our life. And so I think the lesson is to use your intuition to guide you as to what foods are going to nourish you. But be honest with yourself. If you know that you shouldn't drink alcohol, or that caffeine gives you a huge spike and then a dump, be honest with yourself about what is good for you and what changes you can make. but we don't all need to eat the same diet. There isn't one right diet for everybody. And I know Ramtin believes that as well. So in my progression, I ate just fish for a long time. So I was pescatarian. And then I will never forget, I was at this amazing sushi dinner with my friends. We're in Las Vegas and I love sushi. And they put down this huge platter of beautiful sushi. And I had this wave over my body of like, I just this wave of sadness. And then I felt a little bit nauseous. I also was hungry and it looked good. So these two things were happening at the same time. And I ate the sushi that night, but I knew then that at some point in the coming few months, I would be cutting out fish as well. So that was my progression. And then Ramtin ate meat up until about 6 months ago. And so he would cook himself meat, and I don't prepare meat in our home just because I don't really know what to do with it. I've never cooked that much meat and I don't eat it. So it would be strange for me to cook meat just for Ramtin to eat. And so he would sometimes buy like a roasted chicken or would cook meat for himself. And then he would order meat. Almost every meal we ate out, he would order meat. And then, I don't know, about 7 months ago, he also, I think, started to feel that it would work better for his body to stop eating meat. And so he did. And to be honest, I expected him to make some accommodations because he's Persian. And when we go to his family dinners, there's these beautiful, his mom and sister make these amazing meals and there's always meat in the stews. And so I expected him to make accommodations for things like that. But he hasn't, because it feels right to him to not eat meat. So those are examples of kind of our progression and how we followed our intuition. Mine was like baby steps over several years, and Ramtin just kind of, ripped the Band-Aid off. But we're not trying to suggest that everyone needs to be vegetarian. I think you need to, increase your awareness, practice your yoga, meditate, and then tune into your body and see what your body tells you need. If that's to eat meat, then by all means eat meat. So I just wanted to give you the story of our transitions just because it comes up in the class. But here we'll dive into Ramtin's class on the third chakra.
So again, welcome everyone. We've been talking about chakras, and so far we've gotten to third chakra. We spent 2 or 3 weeks on the first chakra and then the second chakra. And as you know, again, just a brief overview, chakras are vortexes, energy points in our body. We have 7 chakra, major ones that we focus on. And the 8th chakra is our etheric body, is our aura that surrounds us, encompasses all of the other 7 chakras. The first chakra at the base of the spine and our feet and legs is about foundation. It's about our stability. It's about connection to earth, our individuality. And the second chakra, sacral area, is about relationship. It's about duality, being able to now connect with that duality from a place that is not so much of separation, so much of, the polarization of it is not separating us, is not fear-based. It's from a place of knowing that we are individuals, at the same time we are connected, and creating the relationship from that aspect, understanding that we are all coming from the same source. And that's what it has to do with sexuality and sexual organs. And if you understand that relationship with ourselves and our higher self, and that relationship within our body, with our organs and glands, then we create a better, stronger relationship with others, in everything in our life. And we understand the meaning of co-creation from a different way. And we implement that understanding into every aspect of our relationship. Now we move into third chakra, and third chakra is part of the area in the third chakra is the solar plexus. It's actually between the navel and the solar plexus. And in Kundalini Yoga, we focus a lot on the navel area to empower the third chakra. And the Sanskrit word for third chakra is Manipura. It's translated as city of jewels. That's how it is translated to. And the color associated with, just a little basics about the third chakra, is yellow. Color of energy. Solar plexus, right? That has the name solar in it. So it's kind of that sun energy in that area. And everything that gives us, nourishes our body, has that sun energy in it, or supposed to have that sun energy in it. The plants, the seeds, all, every food that we eat gets nourished by the sun energy, and that's how it gets transported into our body by consuming the plants. And that gives us direct energy, not only through our exposure of our skin to the sun, but also consuming it and giving us the energy internally. But our diet nowadays is off, and especially, I recently have become a vegetarian, not eating meat. But there's a lot goes to that understanding of how, as we consume meat, we're not really nourishing our body with that sun energy that we need. It's like secondhand, carbohydrates that we receive, or protein that turns into energy. So that's part of understanding that, or knowing who we are, or how our bodies are made. The digestive tract is made for us to be plant eaters, not meat eaters. And our belief system and our habits and our craving, all of our senses working for us to just go towards eating meat has been developed over years and years. And if we, especially thinking that meat is good for us, that we need it, we have gravitated towards, and there's a history behind it, how we became carnivores. We were when we first arrived on this planet Earth, we were not. After the ice ages, we had to become to survive. But that's just one aspect of our discussion about energy, solar plexus energy, that how we could bring in that energy into our body. So the idea of willpower, and the discussion of willpower comes up with talking about the third chakra. When we think of willpower, is resisting, the willpower to have something other than what you were used to doing, your habitual ways, right? It takes a lot of willpower, meaning the mind power, probably. That's how we perceive it. Thought-wise, we have to think ourselves through something, mostly willpower, But as we understand that the third chakra is the center of our willpower, now is not only one-dimensional. It's not just thought. It's not just the mind. It is our entire body. Mainly focused around the solar plexus. So again, it says here that the third is energy. The willpower is energy, just like thoughts are energy. So as we open up the third chakra, we open up the channels for that energy to move, and therefore we expand on our willpower. It's not just coming from through our thoughts. It actually becomes more biological, and we're able to respond to things easier and go the direction we want to. And as we consciously think of what we want to do, what is good for us, the goals that we have, we are able to take action, not just through thinking ourselves towards it, but actually moving wholeheartedly. Because obviously third chakra, fourth chakra, which is the heart chakra, working close to each other. And it also works in alignment with other chakras. All chakras are work together. So understanding that helps us understand that what we do here in Kundalini Yoga, we are aligning the energies between, opening the channels between each chakra to be able to move the energy in a proper way, at the same time creating a healthy connection and a relationship between each organ and each gland to be able to move that energy, our intention, our focus towards a certain goal and take action. Because very holistic. Because that's why we feel out of balance. That's why our bodies have aches and pains. That's why we have illnesses, we get diseases. Because when our focus is out of balance, it could be multi-layer. It could be our thoughts, something that's out of balance in our life, stresses, and so on and so forth. And the intelligence of our system in our body, working together to help us survive and thrive. But when we are constantly in the survival mode, the organs communicate with each other, and one has to compromise so the other is able to be alive and keep moving and working, so for us to have this life. And therefore, because it's overstressed, then that energy intensifying in that area, we feel it now. The bladder working because being overworked. Our kidneys are being overworked because we consume, for example, alcohol too much. We eat too much processed food. And for all the system to cleanse the blood and the digestive system to separate the toxins from real food, nutrition, to provide nutrition for our body, it is overworked. And therefore, at a point, it just kind of doesn't stop, but gives us a warning through the aches and pains and stuff like that. So it's an intelligent system that's working for us always. And looking at it from that perspective, everything is working for us to survive and be alive and continue on this soul journey. So when we have pains and aches, you shouldn't look at it as something's wrong with us. It's actually a warning that we're receiving, and now we could correct it. How do we correct it? By directing the energy with our focus. That's why meditations work. That's why positive thinking works, is direction of directing your energy. And therefore exercises work. And what we're doing in Kundalini Yoga, we are strengthening our nervous system, our glandular system, to move the energy in the direction that it's supposed to. And that's why it does what it does for us. So a few other basics about third chakra. Again, its focus is the glands and that are the glands and the organs that are associated with third chakra or solar plexus, liver, gallbladder, spleen, stomach, small intestine, adrenals, mid-spine, and pancreas. The physical, part of us who are associated with that. So if you don't take action, the thoughts that we have, if you don't move, take a step towards our goals and our purpose and what we intend to do. It could be anything. It could be that you desire to take dancing classes, but you don't. It could be the desire for you to go to the beach, but you prevent yourself from doing it for whatever reason. Then right there, that desire, that's something that soul's, that's called the soul's desire, your heart's desire. You want to do things, opening a business, having a relationship. And when you have those and you don't take action, eventually it affects those body parts. So that's when, if you have a certain issue with any of those things that we mentioned, above what you do, going to the doctor, adjusting your diet or taking some kind of supplement or drug, whatever it is that you do to correct it chemically, you also want to add other things in life to it, which are probably more important. Not probably, it is more important. Exercises, going out, the things that you could do. Again, the main key is to taking action, doing, is part of our personal empowerment, self-confidence. So it says that third chakra is like the energy of similar to energy of the sun being stored in the solar plexus, the navel area. And through the exercises, when we open the channels of this energy, like an energy source within our body, towards the first chakra, and at the base of the spine is that coil of Kundalini sitting there. When we send that energy towards that coil, then now it opens up and comes up, the light of the Kundalini comes up through the spine. That's how we raise the Kundalini, by utilizing the energy of the third chakra, sending it towards the base of the spine, and then sending it back up, the light Kundalini energy. So navel area again is one of the key areas in the third chakra area.
Awesome. Now we'll transition into our practice for today, which is the energizing pranayama. It's to increase the solar energy. And we do this by stimulating the Pingala Nadi, which is an energy channel that is based at your right nostril and then circles around the center of your body down to the base of your spine. There's a mirror nadi called the Ida Nadi that comes from your left nostril, and it circles around to the base of your spine. And one activates the sun active energy, one activates the lunar calming energy. So today we're going to experiment with the right solar activating nadi, and then next week we'll experiment with the left cooling calming nadi. And I just realized I'm talking, so the word nadi is N-A-D-I. And it's just an energy channel or pathway in the body. So let's prepare to get started. You can go ahead and come into your meditative posture. If you're driving or walking, obviously you'll make accommodations for safety and comfort. But if you're sitting, if you have the opportunity, you can sit cross-legged or with your feet on the floor. Have your sit bones grounded down. You can rock forward and back so that there's contact there. Try to stack your body on top of your sit bones so that it lines up nicely. It's really easy to sit up tall that way. The heart is open and lifted. Shoulders are lifting up, back, and down. Crown of the head is lifting up tall. Chin is very gently tucked down and back. Let's have both hands on the knees. Let's do palms down. And then we'll gently begin long, deep breathing. We'll just take a couple breaths before we start the pranayama for today. So just inhale deeply, filling up the belly, the ribs, and the upper chest. And then exhaling, chest, ribs, and belly contract. Let's do one more deep breath like that. A wave-like motion moving from the bottom of your torso up to the top of your torso. Exhaling from the top of your torso down to the bottom. Let's continue these long, deep breaths. What we're going to do is raise up your left hand and use your left thumb to close your left nostril, leaving the remaining the remaining fingers pointed up like an antenna. And then do long, deep breathing, inhaling into the belly, ribs, and chest, and exhaling chest, ribs, and belly just through the right nostril. If your right nostril is congested, you might need a tissue. You can try and blow your nose. If it's just a little difficult, but you can still breathe, continue. And over the practice, it'll get more and more open. So we're continuing with inhaling, long, deep breath in through the right nostril. And out through the right nostril. In and out. And out. You can close your eyes if it's safe for you. Focus them at the third eye if you'd like to make it more of a meditation. Just continue breathing, inhaling and exhaling through your right nostril. Activating the energy center, the energy pathway that gives us energy, focus. If your mind has wandered, bring it back to the breathing. Inhaling, belly, ribs, and chest. Exhaling, chest, ribs, and belly. If you're looking for even more meditative qualities, you can mentally chant Sat on the inhale and Nam on the exhale. Inhaling Sat. Exhaling Nam. Let's continue breathing through the right nostril. We have about 1 more minute to go. We're activating We're activating the activation energy pathway to increase our energy, increase the solar sun vibrant energy. We're still here, inhaling belly, ribs, and chest through the right nostril. Exhaling chest, ribs, and belly. Inhaling Sat. Exhaling Nam. Beautiful. Let's take 3 more breaths like this together. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. At the end of your next exhale, remove your hand. Inhale deeply through both nostrils. Suspend the breath briefly. Exhale all the air out. Keep the eyes closed. Let the breath return to a natural pattern. And check in with your mental, emotional, and spiritual state. Did you experience what this pranayama advertised? An increase in solar activating energy. It's better than any energy drink out there because it doesn't have a crash afterwards and it doesn't make you feel frazzled or edgy or shaky. Our bodies have these amazing systems that once we learn, we can utilize them. And I have to be honest, I don't use this stuff as much in my day-to-day as I should. So as I'm practicing this, I'm like, oh, next time I feel like I need a nap before I can move on throughout my day, I'm gonna remember this and apply this. And I hope that you do as well. I hope that you enjoyed this pranayama. When you're ready, you can blink your eyes open, come back to this time and space, or the time and space that you're in, so you can move on about your day with this extra little tool in your pocket. And next week, we will do the other nostril. I mean, you know essentially what it will be like, so you can test it on your own. But next week, I'll lead you through closing the right nostril and breathing through the left nostril, which helps bring you down. It brings in the lunar energy. The instructions also say that you should take 26 long, deep, and complete breaths, but to keep the time down, I just did a couple minutes. So you can experiment by doing just a couple minutes, or if you want to do the whole practice, then you'll want to count your breaths and do 26 long, deep breaths through the right nostril. Okay, that is it for the 13th episode of Heart-Centered Revolution podcast. Like I said before, we so appreciate you being here and listening. And any new listeners we picked up while we were on our break, thank you so much for finding us. We are super grateful for this community. And like I said, if you have a spare 5, maybe 7 minutes, please visit heartcenteredrevolution.com/survey to let us know what it is you like about Kundalini Yoga, what you'd like to learn more about, and what type of products or teachings would best support you. Our goal is to help people turn their practice from something that you have just an hour in a studio, or hour and a half, because Kundalini Yoga classes are kind of long. How to take it out of the studio and into your day-to-day life. And so any insight as to how we can support you with that progression, please let us know at the survey. Okay, thank you so much. We love you, and may the longtime sun shine upon you. We'll be back next week.